Hey guys, welcome to Community Cares. I'm Dave. I'm the Executive Director here at Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet.
And I'm Chaplain Chaz Blackburn, and I have the honor of being on the board of directors for Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. And we have a super special guest today.
Would you mind introducing yourself?
Sure, I'm Kristopher Dahir, and I was just walking by outside, and these two grabbed me and said, "Why don't you?" No, I'm a city councilman for the city of Sparks.
Mm-hmm.
We actually each met for many different reasons over the years. They might talk a little bit about it, but I've been a pastor for 30 years and a few other things, and honored to be here with you.
Just a few other things.
just a few. This might be a long episode.
Yeah.
And did you introduce yourself last week? You didn't. I was re-listening to the episode, and I had to call you out. I was like,
I stole your welcome, though.
You did steal my welcome. Dude, not cool. So thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate it. Let's explain a little bit about what Community Cares is and who it's for.
Yeah, so we're just in the community for the community, and we really just want to bring the community together and talk about resources and events and have special guests on. And just, in this time in society, it's just important to unite and spend time together and just try to bring some positivity to what's going on.
Yeah, it's hard. There's a lot of darkness right now and a lot of people hurting. There's a lot of hurt in the community. So if we could just shine a little bit of a light just by coming together with different resources in the community, that's what it's all about. Shine that light, being a part of the solution rather than adding to the problems. So normally what we do is we go in and we have 3 different events we talk about. Honestly, with you here, I'm betting we're going to be talking more about different events in the community because you're everywhere. I see you all the time on Facebook. There's a lot of great things in Sparks happening.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I almost would say, and I'm going to just piggyback on what you just talked about, is shining the light and seeing the positive. I think one of the hard things, like it or not, is that bad news pays, and so bad news is what everyone gets. But there is so many great things just today, that are happening. Wonderful people that I don't even know are helping a neighbor, who are doing things that nobody's going to talk about because it doesn't make the news. And then we hear all the bad and the bad and the bad. And then we walk around like this, oh my gosh, this world.
Hey, and we could talk about the good things. If you guys have any good things, comment. If you're listening to it later, a lot of people are listening to it later on Spotify. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, all over the place. You type in Community Cares and we come up.
Did you ever see, because we're 139 on Apple?
I couldn't find it. I don't know. I got an email. Someone said, oh, you're ranking pretty high on Apple Podcasts for the nonprofit section.
Awesome.
That's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can confirm it. Let us know. But we're working hard. We're putting it out there every single week. Some pre-recorded, some live. And with the live episodes like this, people are able to interact. Not everyone does interact all the time, and that's okay. But the whole point is we want to give the conversation over to the people rather than it just be Chaz and I talking. I mean, Chaz and I could talk for probably an hour or so.
I've had coffee a few times.
We're good. We can talk. But we want to also give the opportunity to you, the viewer or the listener. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of what we're doing in the community. It matters. It really does. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the 3 upcoming events that we wanted to highlight today. The first one is the Candy Dance in downtown Genoa. That's September 23rd to September 24th.
I remember going there as a kid with my mom.
I never have been.
It was so much fun.
Really? What'd you do? What is it? Tell me.
I would save money all year to get these buffalo teeth. They would have these buffalo teeth and these different Indian sculptures and different things.
Oh.
And we'd get popcorn and all these special snacks. So that's a lot of fun. Have you ever gone?
I've never been. I've done weddings out in Genoa, so it's funny. I've been out there. It's a beautiful place. I can imagine. I've heard of the Candy Dance a few times, but I like meat. I don't even eat the sweets, so that's why I like the rib cook-off.
We highlighted the rib cook-off a few weeks ago, but yeah, I've never been. I've heard really good things about it, and my wife Nika, she loves the Candy Dance because, she loves Genoa rather. Never been to Candy Dance. She loves Genoa because we hang out in Genoa and there's deer. Oh, yeah. They like to hang out because it's a safe spot. They can roam around and there's always deer. always. It's pretty cool. And so I love Genoa. Is it the oldest city
Let's ask the
in
council.
Nevada? I know there's a debate on this, right?
I don't. I think Virginia City ranks up with that.
Yeah.
Oh, is
that
it?
would make sense.
I'm pretty sure. I
'Cause I
mean,
thought the oldest bar,
Like
and I
it
mean,
what?
is in Genoa.
Oh, is it? Oh,
That's what I was
you know
told.
what? You would know.
yeah.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the clothes guy would know about bars.
The truth is, I do not know. I'm actually from Vegas before here, and so
Yeah.
that is not the oldest place. And up here in the north is where we have a lot of our history that comes from Nevada.
Right.
Even though people in Las Vegas like to think they're the history of it all,
No,
but they
no,
don't.
no. Nope.
I've learned that very clearly. But I appreciate our history. It's pretty amazing.
History's here. Well, speaking of history, I want to talk a little about Sparks. Sparks history. Give us some lowdown. Do you know any?
Yeah. Oh, I know a little bit. Well, I know
Little
that
bit.
1905 is when we became our, the city that we are.
Yeah.
I know that it's pretty amazing to see the old railroad town, and I've seen so many pictures and different things. For me, it's real important to know some of the history of our city.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because though we grow and it looks very different,
Right.
some of the heart of who we are has not changed. I don't think. At least that's my hope.
Okay.
Is that we stay a community. And I'll give you an example. So Vegas, I'll just compare Vegas to here. And I know that anybody on here saying, you said Vegas twice and one, just hear me out. I'm complimenting the North. Vegas does events, obviously.
Yeah.
But every event they do is for them to make money. It's for them. No wrong. It takes money to do things. The events we do up here are for our community.
Oh,
There's a lot of
absolutely.
them.
There is.
Yeah,
but,
really.
But whether someone comes from out of town, we don't even, we like it because they bring in money to the community.
Sure.
And we keep track of that, whether people know we do or not, we do, and
Right.
stuff like that. But I don't put on an event thinking, man, I sure hope we get all these people from California.
Yeah.
I'm thinking is,
Yeah.
I hope our community comes
Mm,
in Vegas and stuff like that. It's not like that.
really.
Yeah, it's very different.
Born and raised here in Reno. So.
But you live in Sparks now, don't you?
I do. I'm now a resident of Sparks. 2 blocks.
I just want to point that out.
Yeah, I'm in Sparks now, so I got to learn the history.
I grew up in Sparks. Now I live in Reno.
Trouble.
That's trouble. But we're cities or we're united, right?
That's right.
Right?
Yep.
Are we?
We are.
Or is there a
Actually.
rivalry?
No, actually, I think that like Reno, Sparks, and Northern Nevada we work really well as a region.
Yeah.
From what I've seen.
We do, and I think it's important people know that. Sometimes people watch things and wonder. Doesn't mean we all have the same perspective. And it's funny. One of the conversations we're going to have is a little bit about conflict resolution.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about that because I do think that if people understood it a little bit better, maybe their stress level could go down and know that there's a process to any conversation. And that might seem sometimes that we might not always agree 100%.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I value you any less.
Right.
Matter of fact, I'm listening to you as maybe I'm going, I don't agree, but
Yeah.
tell me about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, no. See, he's coming on for us, Chaz.
Yes.
He listened to last podcast. He's like,
This is an intervention.
you guys.
Andrea asked me to come.
She was here last week. And and we're just so you guys know a little bit behind the scenes. We're friends. We hang out. Christopher has been a huge support to Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. When the 620 program, I talk about all the time. I rave about it every week. I talk about it. And that's really the backbone of why Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, as a board, we've been able to stay open, right? Is because of individual donors that are just donating $20 a month. It's huge. And he won't tell you this, but it was his brainchild. We were talking at Lighthouse Coffee, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. I really hope things work out the way they need to.
I think he wanted to do a fashion show, and he's like,
No, it was the other way around.
I want-
Other way
I
around.
wanted to. I still
I
want
said
to.
no.
I want to do it. I liked it. Oh.
Oh no, yeah, that was his idea.
I know a few people who can make that happen now.
Oh
Wait,
geez.
then goes on
Oh,
vacation.
Yeah, that's
That's
awesome.
Christmas. And so thank you for just being a friend and helping me bounce ideas off you and giving me input and letting me know, hey Dave, that was actually a really dumb thing to think about.
I never officially said that. I
No.
get this look. I've learned I do this.
But you're a smart man, and I appreciate you, and thank you so much. Truly, you've been a support and helping me just think through as a friend. So
It's funny. I've been places with Christopher, and I've seen people talking to him, and I don't remember the topics, but you gave that look like, oh.
oh, I've seen the look. Yeah. So exactly. And the reason why you and I met was because of Christopher, and we actually mentioned that on this podcast in the past.
With your little quinoa cup.
When I was really trying to launch things at Good Shepherd, Christopher was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna have some people over, and we're gonna just start networking and talk with people. And we're gonna do lunch every week. And it was a huge support to Good Shepherd's Close Class because I didn't know anyone in the community. He was really trying to connect me with other people in the community, which is what this is about. Community cares, right? We're working together. We're in the community together, right? Mm-hmm. But one of those things, during one of those meetings, there was this guy who was staring at me, and he thought I was a cool guy, but he was definitely misinformed. I don't know. He says that a lot. But he keeps talking about my quinoa.
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking about you.
Figure it out. Oh, great.
See, we had lunch a few times, but we'd never let him bring us lunch.
Yeah.
Oh.
He'd have this little weird looking.
We'd bring a sandwich. That's right.
Oh boy. Yeah. But honestly, Chaz is one of my closest friends now. We hang out a lot. We talk about Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. We talk about ways we can make impacts in the community with the organizations we're a part of. Because it's not just Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet both of us are a part of. Chaz is part of all sorts of things. I'm a part of other things in the community. And so we work really hard to not only utilize what we can with Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, but also how can we work together and reach further and not be stuck where we are. I have a hard time when people want to just focus on, okay, so if you get that donation, I don't get that donation. Mm-hmm. A lot of people that I've been around in this community have said that to me. And I don't understand because we are stronger together. We really are. And unity is so important.
It's wild because there's only so much pie. But at least in my experience, when nonprofits join together, they raise so much more money. So I don't understand.
Well, the interesting thing, and I appreciate you saying that. So one of the reasons that I did not go on this board, and we talked about this, is because of other boards I serve on that I think we could help better by not having to disclose it. Say I'm part of this board, so I have to back out. And so I'm very supportive of all that you do. But with that, one of the big areas we focus a lot on is not just those dealing with homelessness, but also those almost dealing with homelessness.
Yeah.
But the one thing we have done a lot of research, and we do have the resources in our community.
Right.
If only we would work together.
Yeah.
It's an amazing concept. And if we would just work together, and that's what we had professionals that were brought in with grant money to come and tell us, how to approach some of these situations. And it really came down to organize yourself, work together, quit competing, get out of your silos.
Right.
And it's all stuff that we knew that was in place, so we really appreciated the inspiration and the guidance. But
yeah.
Talking about like the CHAB board, is that pronounce it right?
Yeah, Community Homelessness Advisory Board, and that it's a group that right now a lot of people knows what we've done for CARES Campus. But the truth is, it was not created to create a CARES Campus.
Really?
No, yeah. So I helped create CHAB. So this was me, David Bobzian, if you remember that guy from Reno. He was a city council for a while, and then Kitty Jung. The three of us were on a board, and we were kind of frustrated because all we would do is come together, and it was at that point it was a housing coalition type board, and we just hear from Pat Cashel the sad news of what's all happening, and we just saw these numbers growing. We just said we need more than just the three of us hearing sad stories.
Yeah.
So we created CHAB.
Wow. That's
great.
There's
There's always room for improvement, but I mean, we really do have some great people doing great things and people that care. And if you look at other cities, I think we're making huge advancements to serve that population.
Well, it's not perfect by any means, and part of it is the hardest part about what we do anytime is everyone gets to watch it, how it's made, how it's all put together.
Yeah.
And so you're midstream watching all this happen.
Yeah.
And so as you're watching that, It's not done. There's missing
Right.
pieces, and
Oh, of course.
it'd be almost like you're going to have to eat something that doesn't have all the ingredients yet.
Right.
Well, like it or not, that's what sometimes we deal with in government. We have
Right.
to move forward with what we have right now,
Yeah.
but we are adding the ingredients that need to be there.
That's great. And you're not just government. You're all over the place as well, helping a lot of people doing a lot of different things. So, but I want to get back on track for a minute. We'll talk more for sure. But let's talk about street vibrations. That's near and dear to my heart because I grew up going to that. My dad has a Harley and grew up riding the Harley and
Really?
stuff. So.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Cool.
he teaches the motorcycle classes.
I
And
saw
stuff.
your Harley.
It's not my Harley.
Oh no, you have a Harley.
He's got a little
it's
electric
smaller.
Harley.
It's kind of like a Harley. It's a Harley. It's not a Harley.
That thing is fast though. I tried it.
My
Oh, man.
my e-bike is fun. I love that
Where
thing.
were we at? It was the Global Fair, the Global Fair, Earth Day.
Earth Day.
Fair.
Yeah, we were invited.
But you said, try this. I hopped on and almost fell down.
That was so funny.
Oh, man.
Yeah, we have a lot of fun on our board. You made a mistake, Chris.
I had to increase the insurance,
I'm
I think.
joking. Oh, probably.
Yeah.
So, street vibrations. Anyone know anything about street vibration? I just know it's a lot of fun.
I do. So you're going to have these bikes coming through from all over the place,
Oh, yeah.
and it's really a lot of it more takes place in Reno. That's one of their big events. Obviously, it bleeds into everywhere,
Yeah.
and you'll see them all over. And that probably the biggest thing I would say to anybody really out there listening is just slow down and be careful.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes open. Every year we sadly have a few accidents, and so with that said, we'd like to see no accidents this
Yeah.
year. That's a good goal to have.
Absolutely.
And so just keep an eye on these bikes. It's hard to see them sometimes.
Yeah.
I hear them coming, though, because I live in Midtown. And, man, when
You
they
live in
start
Midtown?
going... Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
You actually grew up in Midtown?
Well,
you look like you're from Midtown.
Two blocks. 2 blocks from Midtown.
So you are a
then it was
hipster.
no. Back then it
Yes.
wasn't nice.
Uh,
It wasn't.
punk rock band
It was
and
hard.
everything.
Well, both the Peppermill and I think GSR, but I'm pretty sure, I know the Peppermill for sure, they closed down whole areas for bikes to come in so they can have a place to park. And
That's cool.
it's a whole thing, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's fun. So definitely check out the event and see what's happening for sure. And then finally, our last event that we want to highlight this week is the Nevada Veterans Memorial 7th Annual Dinner on September 28th.
Well, I would love to invite anybody who'd like to come. So the Nevada Veterans Memorial is that one. It's built at the Sparks Marina. It just opened last November, and we've had easily over 150,000 people walk through
Wow.
the memorial at this point. And it's just amazing to see all the people part of it. When it comes down to it, people might say, why are you still raising money? It was built. Well, the people built it and knew we didn't have enough money. They just wanted to help us get it done.
Right.
So we are still raising money for that. We are all free. We donate our time. It's a 501c3. That is not a city project. And it's really important people understand that. Some people think, well, they use my tax money. Why don't they just spend it? That's not
I've
the way
even
it's-
seen the grass grow, and you were saying that you couldn't get someone to mow it because you do a lot of the maintenance, right?
We do all the maintenance.
Okay.
Yeah, so the city does not cut our grass. They cut around it in other parts of the marina.
Sure.
But the memorial in that circled area that's inside that loop is all our responsibility. I have a board and I have volunteers. I mean, hats off to the Vietnam Veteran Group who comes once a week. Our Rotary Group comes once a week. Blue Star Moms. And then the Chamber of Commerce just did a whole big, great cleaning day for us.
It is crazy. So I think it's a beautiful, beautiful memorial. I love going there. It's very peaceful. The art is just done well. The masonry, is that what you call it? Masonry?
Yeah, masonry.
Yeah. Chaz,
Why
why you leaving me hanging dry?
He's the
Come on,
expert
man.
here. He helped build it.
Come on, man. What are you doing? Yeah, and it's beautiful. And a lot of people still haven't gone to it. Several of my volunteers, I was like, "Oh, have you been? It's beautiful." "Oh no, I go to the dog park all the time," and I'm like,
It is so
it's
true.
it's right over there. It's beautiful. Check
Speaking
it
of
out.
how good of a guy Christopher is, obviously I can't say the name because of HIPAA, but we had a hospice patient who was a veteran, and it was a beautiful, beautiful thing. the individual wanted to get out, and so I called Christopher up, and Christopher met us down there, gave him a coin, a challenge coin, and gave him a personal tour, and
Wow.
it made this individual's last chapter really special.
Wow.
In fact, when the individual passed, he had still kept that challenge coin in his pocket for weeks after, even maybe a month and a half or 2 months. So I just thank you for doing that. But that just shows what it's all about. You know, it really makes a difference for our veterans and just honoring their memory and the sacrifice that they've given.
You know, if there's something that I'm going to say this because I believe we all have this in common, and I think as you look at these men and what they do, and their board, and I even see the volunteers out here, men, women, all the different people. It's the valuing of others that really is the key. And if we can transfer this to the next generation,
Yes.
and the veterans is just one aspect of it, and there's so many. But if we can make sure that we are the example of how to value people, and sometimes some people think that means that people can do anything they want to you, but that doesn't mean that actually.
Right.
Valuing people means we can disagree. I can stop you from punching me in the neck. You don't get to do that, right? We have things, we can have our boundaries.
Sure.
We can stand
Yeah.
for what we believe, but how we do it just matters so much.
Yeah.
But I would say, just because I know you want to stay on track with your thing, I will get into my other stuff. So if you are interested in going to the dinner, this week is the last week that we have tickets. And I say that it's next Friday is the dinner. And no, sorry, next Thursday is the dinner. And it's going to be an awesome event. We have a bunch of volunteers coming. But you go to nvmp.us and you're welcome to go. Or just go down and visit it.
Yeah.
You know, I do want to see also that night. If you know, say you can't afford to have a ticket and you just want to go down and visit the memorial, do so, because there's also a big concert in the park that
Ooh,
evening.
There it is.
Oh,
Right
that's
there.
Is that?
And so if
Thursday.
you-
How fun.
Yeah. So if you want to go down and see the memorial, and just know that maybe in the future you want to come to a dinner and maybe a little more time, but you can drop by and see it for free.
Yeah.
The thing is totally free for anybody to walk through.
Yeah, I have no excuse. I'm really close now. I was in Midtown near you. I didn't know we lived near each other. But yeah, it's a really beautiful memorial. You guys did a great job. And I was blown away when everything was said and done. It's beautiful. Good
That
job.
was Ron Smith's dream, Mayor Ron Smith.
It was,
correct?
and so I really believe I got to carry another man's flag, and I say that. I mean, it's something I care about, and from the day he told me about it, I cared about it. But it was his idea, and it was his, and Dave Sousa and some other veterans.
By the way, I just saw he was hero of the game at
I
the
did
Unit Target.
see
That's
that.
cool.
Yeah. So he's one of our board members for the memorial. But we have some great ones. But Ron Smith died a couple years ago. He was such a close friend, and I miss him so much. I actually wish we could have got this built before he passed away. He would just sat there and cried. He always cried. He was a crier, and so whenever we talked about certain things, he'd just start tearing up. But he was the mayor of Sparks and city council for a long time. Good father, husband, all those good things. But he also was a dear friend of mine, and so for me, I won't forget that. And I'm just honored that I get to do this. And our goal, we have actually an education path that's going in called the Ron Smith Education Path,
Awesome.
and that will be something for kids and anybody wanting to go down and learn about what our country has, how it's processed.
Right.
And I'd say this, because some people might say, well, some things in history we don't like. Why are we putting something up that shows that? So we learn from it.
Exactly.
So
That's
do
so true.
understand if someone says, well, why we shouldn't put, Vietnam War, that wasn't good. Or, I mean, no, I'm
It's
wrong.
ugly. It's ugly.
War
truth.
is not good, and we don't. I'm not here to say any of it, but it tells our story, and we learn from our lessons. If we take our stories and push them aside, our kids are bound to repeat the
Oh,
things
yeah.
we learned.
Yep. You're absolutely right. Real quick, I want to highlight some GSCC news. You probably have seen it all over on Facebook or all over. We are doing a coat drive at the National Automobile Museum October 14th at 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And our barrel is going to be there the entire month.
Awesome.
But if you donate a coat or a blanket on that day, you will get half off tickets to the Automobile Museum, and there will be free hot dogs. It's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
It's really important too to collect blankets. Not only do we give them out to our clients that come in, but with the hospice house getting ready to launch this next month, They're going to need sheets and blankets, and Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet is going to be partnering with them, with us at the Circle of Life Hospice Foundation. So I just encourage everybody to really bring sheets, twin size sheets, jackets, blankets. We really need a big turnout this year.
Yeah, we need some help. So
We have some
anyone,
other micro closets possibly launching, which we can't go into.
we can't get into
But
detail on that.
we need resources. We need blankets. We need
We
jackets.
need those resources. Men's jeans, we're almost out of too. Got any jeans you want to donate, Jess?
I might actually.
Oh, there we go.
This is why it's so important, right?
Right, absolutely. Yeah, the men's jeans, that's one of the things we always run out of. And you think a lot of our clients that come in here, they're looking for jobs. They're looking for jobs where they need jeans or black pants or something like that, right? Because a lot of them, a lot of our clients will go and be a part of casino work or Tesla. Some of our partners with Reno Works and other programs that help those that are unhoused walk through those steps, right? And so we're a piece of that. we're
Shout out to Nick.
shout out Nick. That's right. And he needs to be on this podcast too.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, I miss Nick. But that's a part of the steps, and so we need those things. Being involved with Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet, there's always 3 ways that I always tell people you can be involved with us. 1, you can help support us financially. We always need help financially. We're a nonprofit. Volunteers run this organization, which is so awesome to be a part of as an executive director. They are the backbone. They are making this happen. Right now, while we're doing this podcast, volunteers are running Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet. And that is beautiful to be a part of. So financially, we need to keep these lights on. We need to keep moving the mission forwards. I always want to plug the 620 program. We're asking 600 people to donate $20 monthly, and that's how we keep the lights on. So it is so important. You visit gsccreno.org/600@20, and you're able to sign up. Really easy to do. You click the subscribe button, and it just creates a recurring donation to Good Shepherd. But we've mentioned in the past too, it's okay if it's $5. It's okay if it's $10. It doesn't have to be the 600 at 20. I mean,
Yeah.
any support anyone can
even
offer.
donating time or just clicking like and share for our podcasts and
Absolutely.
our different
So it
fundraisers.
could be more than 20.
Absolutely.
You just did
It could be
mention that.
$100,000.
I want to help throw that out there.
True. Absolutely. And actually, there's a few 620 subscribers, monthly subscribers, that do donate more than 20. And then there's some that donate, that are part of our cause. And they say, hey, Dave, I really believe in what you're doing. Those people that walk through your doors, like Timothy, like Michael, these people that really need the help. Lord, I love how you guys are doing that. And they write a check for the full year of 620. And they're a part of the 620 program, but they just wanted to do it ahead of time, which is great.
Yeah.
I love that. I love seeing the community coming together around this cause, because this cause is not me. The cause is not Chaz. This cause is not the board. The cause is not the volunteers. The cause is that we're helping people in need. It's such a basic thing.
Yeah, it's not just clothes, it's hope and dignity, which is something
100%.
I know you love
Huge.
to drive for value, like you were talking about.
Yeah, it's more than, honestly, a lot of people give it credit for. This is something bigger than just getting clothes. I know our domain is getclothes.org, but I don't know. That was my idea.
I'll throw our cheesy little tagline that I love so much is be the change that you want to see in the world. And we really believe that, just being the difference that we want to see. I know you have some things that you really wanted to share.
Just, I mean, it all has to do with everything we're talking about, all the value pieces. One thing I've noticed, and it's interesting, I actually don't believe there's more conflict today than there has been in the past. Hear what I just said? There's
Wow.
not. And I say that because I read the Bible. And there was a lot of conflict in it. I read history. I read things. However, how we handle conflict, maybe we might want to make sure we look at how we're doing that so we can make sure we're learning how to do that. There's conflict all the time. I mean, I've been married 30 years, and
Oh.
the reality is, what's that, dude? knows where I'm going. The reality is you can't hang out with anybody for a length of time and not have conflict.
Sure.
And that doesn't matter if you're in the year 55, 1922, or today.
Right.
And so when I say there's not more conflict, maybe there's more because
same
there's
amount.
more humans on this earth. But with that said, humans, we're a nature of conflict. But conflict, I want to really throw this out there. It's something for you guys. I'm going to ask you a few questions because I like to do that.
Yeah.
So,
Do it.
so when you come to conflict, do you tend to run from conflict, thrive with conflict, or utilize conflict? That's the big question. I'll say it again for everyone out there listening. Do you run from conflict, thrive in conflict, or utilize? And I'm going to say that this way so it's clear. People who run from conflict are people who say, I'm out of here. All of a sudden people aren't getting along. Thriving means, and I say this, it's not necessarily a great term, but they like conflict. They actually create it, they produce it, and then they take advantage of the conflict they created. And you see that a lot in the news these days and stuff like that. And it's not I don't consider that good.
Right.
But utilizing conflict is something that I think we all can learn from. It's something that's worth doing.
I think if I'm honest, the human side, that I probably do a little bit of all of them, depending on the situation.
Yeah.
As I'm getting older, I'm trying to utilize it more and see the opportunity and put myself in the other individual's shoes.
Right.
But sometimes it's hard because we all have our different shortcomings, and as a father, sometimes I struggle and I get angry over little things, and I'm like, wait a minute, this is not a big deal, But there's other times that I'll be the first one to jump in during a heightened situation where it's really intense with a family and someone's dying or there's narcotics use. So it just depends on the situation, but I think that's a really good question to process.
That is a good question. I think if I was being honest, I probably thrive in conflict more often in my weakness. So, I have 4 siblings. I used that all the time growing up, and but that's my weakness, and I want to say I'm definitely trying to grow, always, every single day, and see what the next steps are to stop doing that and create unity rather than division, right? Because thriving, that's an interesting word for that, but thriving in conflict creates more division in the long run and in the middle of it, right?
It means you took more.
Right.
Yeah, it means you kind of won. And,
Yeah.
and that's a hard one. I'm going to ask another way. Do you think conflict's bad, good, or neutral?
I think mostly could be good, depending on how you react.
Yep. I think conflict's good, technically.
So I'm going to say it's neutral. So I'm going to argue with you.
Okay. Let's go.
Politician.
Let's go.
I set them up. Well, here's why I say it's neutral, because it depends what you do with it.
True.
I think it actually has no bad or good quality to
Okay.
it, and I tricked you a little bit on that one. And so, but I would say it has no. I know this is what we do.
Cruel.
So, but it really has no character quality to it except what you add to it or take away from it.
Okay.
And so, if we have the ability and the principles in place for conflict, and then I do think it's neutral, and it can be a very positive thing in someone's life. And if it's not handled well, and people who think it's bad, because a lot of times when people think conflict's bad, they will run from it. That you're going to run from what you don't like. Sometimes when we think it's good, if you're not careful, we tend to thrive in it. Like some people create conflict just to manipulate the people in the middle of the conflict.
Sure.
I mean, we've seen it. We've written books about it. We've watched movies about it. But if we can stop and say, you know what, I'm gonna actually sit back and learn, which really requires me to stop and learn from you and you learn from me. Like if we're in this conversation, all I'm trying to do is prove you right or wrong.
Right.
Which is welcome to marriage counseling or or any of those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
Then we're in trouble because now all of a sudden I'm either trying to win.
Yeah.
Or I'm trying not to lose. Yeah. But the truth is, and if I didn't hear my wife, then I lost.
Oh.
If she didn't hear me, then she lost.
Sure.
Period. Because, and if we let everything get in the way, but it's the same whether I'm hanging out with you guys here. We're
Right.
doing something on helping a group of people. Whether you one day run for office and you're the next mayor of wherever, whatever it is you're doing. And so
Yeah.
those are a few pieces of the puzzle that I want to throw out there at you to think about.
Interesting.
Can I ask you a question?
Oh,
Do you think every battle's worth fighting?
No. Now, I think every battle is worth talking about.
Sure.
And now I say that, words matter.
Yeah.
So fighting means I'm going in to again, to win. If I'm battling, if I'm fighting, I'm do everything I can to win. I just want you to know, I'm not one. Now, with that said, I'm not really that competitive. But if I've decided it's worth fighting for,
yeah.
you're gonna have to kill me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna
Sure.
you're gonna have to get me to slow down. Now, if I go in knowing this conflict's there, every conflict's worth learning from.
Yeah.
And it can be small or large, but that might mean your day that day is just to listen. Now, there are times that it crosses the line quickly, where you go from being listening to all of a sudden they said something that shouldn't be said, and for you to stay quiet means
Right.
I have to speak now because they a lot of times in my world people say things in public. And when you say it in public, if I'm quiet, it means most people think I agreed with that person.
Right.
So I can't. I'm not going to be quiet because if you all of a sudden said, this is better than that, and I couldn't agree with it, I'm going to have to go, well, Chaz, you're a good man. However,
Oh boy.
but I would say, knowing who you are, this really comes back to some of the basis. It sounds weird of conflict, though.
Yeah.
Is you really got to know who you are, or you're not going to be. You're going to actually really struggle in any conflict.
Sure.
So, like, the more that I've understood in my own life of who I am and the things I care about, it makes a lot easier for me to disagree with somebody.
Right.
Because I'm not worried about you talking me out of it.
Right.
I mean, I'm wrong. I can learn from others, and I do. But I have a pretty good foundation of who Christopher is, the principles and the biblical principles I live by. And, I think anybody who reads anything about me, they either like me or don't.
Right.
But either that down at the bottom base of it, they know somewhere in there that it's not whimsical that I'm just coming up with an answer.
Yeah.
And so, as you kind of process forward, but knowing who you are makes it to where when someone's sitting across the room looking at something different, I can stop and say, well, tell me what you see.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's the idea of what perspective is. If right now, I asked you what's behind me, and you told me, and I said, no, you're wrong. You'd be all,
How do you know?
I know. But you think I'm crazy.
Right.
I can't even see behind me.
Right.
Welcome to what we do all the time.
Wow. Yeah, that's true. We all have something.
Yeah, well, because we don't want to see, what the other. We don't want to listen to the other person or.
Well, I don't know if I want to listen to Chaz, so I don't think this intervention's failed. Sorry.
Well, guess what? I respectfully don't care what you think.
Oh,
I know who I am.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, in the political field too, we've lost. That's where it's getting dangerous. Is like you were saying earlier, we've lost the ability to have those respectful, healthy conversations.
Yeah.
You see it every day. People just want to push their beliefs on you and not have healthy dialect. It's not good.
Well, I'm going to have a harder question for you.
Oh
no.
Is it that different in the church right now?
I would say it's probably worse, unfortunately, if I'm going to be truthfully honest.
And I point that out. How about you? What do you think?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Well,
It's rough. There's division in all areas right now, honestly. And I know you bring up the church specifically, but I hear what you're saying. You're saying there hasn't been conflict hasn't been as publicized as it is now. It's publicized far more.
it is.
Right? And I think that's why maybe I think, there's more division than ever before because it's publicized and it's loud. When there's conflict, it's loud. And we have everything in our power right now to publicize the conflict. And everyone does. And it works and it sells. And that's why.
Yeah, no one posts on my puppy pictures very often.
Oh.
But they do like posting. They like to have their opinion. Well, and you're hitting it on the head. And the reason I bring up church is because I've been a pastor 30 years, and as a pastor in church, we're supposed to have the answers, and people have all these thoughts. And the truth is, we're all humans, and we all have these similar things, egos and pride, and these difficult things that drive through our soul. And if we're not careful, they actually are the motivation by which we do what we do. So my question is, what would be a good motive to have when walking into conflict?
That's good. That's a good idea. That's a good idea. What motive? The motive should be to understand the other person's point, right? That's what you're getting at. And we don't want to, because we have our own opinion, right? We all have what we want. And we've talked about this on this podcast a couple times. We all want what we want. There's more than just me. And understanding that is probably the most powerful tool in our tool belt. Like, hey, your opinion matters too. My opinion matters too. Let's talk. Let's have conversation about it. Not just slam someone down because and have all these assumptions about a person just because of one interaction, right? So how can we have those understanding conversations?
I think for me, not to get super like in theology, but when you look at the Old Testament, when it was written in Hebrew, it was super relational. And I think that we've lost the ability, not lost it completely, but there's less and less, especially after COVID, of having relationship with each other. And so spending time together, even if you're disagreeing, that's super important. And I think that that is one of the ways to overcome that and to be able to get through conflict better is if we come together and spend more time together.
Yep.
I mean, and think about how, it's so funny. I think back to League of Cities, I'm sorry, League of Justice.
League of Justice.
I said League of Cities, that's not my serve on that. League of Justice. And my wife says, I'm only on it. It sounds like a superhero thing. But they were all so different. And their differences are what made them strong.
Sure.
And I only say that to the point of what we go through. If we are willing to know who I am and still, it does not mean I have to agree with every piece of what somebody else says, but I'm willing to stop, listen, and then still bring the principles I have. I think it's an amazing thing. I only say this because a lot of times people want to make this as it's a political thing, and that's the news talking.
Right.
This is not a political thing. This is a human thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
and so if we can learn, I'm in the middle of a dissertation. I'm writing my dissertation. I'm going to get my doctoral degree
Awesome.
in leadership on conflict resolution. And so I've been studying so much, and it's been amazing. But I've been really having to do a lot of soul searching of things that I'm doing.
Sure.
And I'm like, man, I just read about myself in a bad way. Like, it's so easy to come up with bad answers because of my agenda.
Yeah. So, how can people find you? Let's dive in the end. You're a busy guy. I know you are. I know you're tired. It's been a long day.
You know what? I want to hear what else he has to say.
Well, we have things we have to do. We have things we
He's
have to
kicking
do.
you off. Oh, no.
I've been booted.
Oh, man.
Is that the hook?
Oh, ouch.
Jeez Louise.
I'd be honored to come back anytime.
Please.
Yeah,
Yes.
Anytime, and we can
Okay.
always talk. You can find me actually pretty easy. But if you want to ever email me, it's my name, Kristopher, Kristopher @dahir.net.
Great.
And you can email me there very easily. I do serve in a lot of capacities for our region, our community. But truthfully, that's not what I don't want. The title, if you require a title to get something done, then you're not the person. You maybe shouldn't have the title. And I just say it that way. And I know I'm wrong. The titles do sometimes help open a door. It does help get some people's attention. But I think you can make a difference before you ever have a title.
Yeah.
So if you start just valuing your neighbor or the person next to you or the person you walk into, just value them. You'd be surprised how it grows. And just who you are can make such a difference.
It's easy in this chaotic world to forget that.
Absolutely.
It's a daily choice.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate you being here a lot. Thank you. We're gonna have to have you back. Absolutely. There's a lot more wisdom.
Hold on, there was one more event, right? The business.
Oh, there is one more event. So one of the things that I get to be honored to do, I know He's lost control of the whole
Lost
thing.
control. Lost
I
control.
love it.
I'm the president of the Christian Bible Christian
Christian College
Nevada Christian Institute,
Institute.
and
Yeah.
we have a Christian Business Network, and that is the
Awesome.
first Friday of every month. And we have Awaken's going to be there this time,
Great.
and sharing a little bit about what they're going through. But it is a great meeting. We do meet at the college. If you email me again at christopher@dare.net, or you go to nvci.com, that's nvci.com, any of those things will give you where you need to go. And we just really want to help equip you to be the best version of you that can walk in this side of heaven. So
Absolutely.
Are you going to go to the Awaken dinner on the 4th,
We are.
November 4th? Awesome.
yeah.
You can still get tickets at awaken.com. That's going to be a great dinner to support them on November 4th. I'll be there. Christopher will be there.
Yeah.
So we hope you guys can join us.
Great. Awesome.
Okay, now I get
Thanks, guys. We'll definitely have to have Christopher back. He's a friend. And thank you so much for coming down.
That's what it's all about. These conversations.
Yes.
I love it.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for joining. Remember, you can always visit getclothes.org for more information on Good Shepherd's Clothes Closet and how to get involved. So thank you. And we help 700 people a month, no matter what. We're asking you to come alongside and help one.